2 pi divided by 2, and you will have pi. So your period in this graph became pi, and C is 0, so there's no phase change, so the graph doesn't move to the right or to the left. Okay, and but we have D, it means it moved 5 units upwards, so our neutral line is y equals to 5, and our maximum point is the neutral line 5 plus the amplitude equals to 7. Our minimum point will be 5 minus the amplitude, which is 3. Okay, if I want to describe the transformation of the graph, I say first thing, there's no reflection. Okay, the first thing I say is there is no reflection of any kind, because A is positive and B is positive, so there's no reflection on the x-axis and no reflection on y-axis. The second part is dilation, so we have a dilation by a scale factor of A, in this case 2, okay, of A equals to 2, which dilation factor by A along y-axis. Okay. And we have another dilation which is inside the bracket. Okay. So dilation by a scale factor of 1 on B, okay, which is equals to half along x-axis. Okay, it means the period actually shrinked to half, so the period is basically 2 pi divided by B, okay, which is pi here. So this is the tricky part. The tricky part is always the horizontal dilation, okay, the dilation along x-axis, and the trick is 1 divided by the coefficient of x inside the bracket. Okay, the dilation factor here is always 1 divided by b. Okay, and after we find dilation, there's translation. Because C is 0, so C is 0, so it means there's no horizontal translation, but we have a vertical translation there, which is translation is 5 units up. 5 units up. Okay, like our neutral line changed from y equals to 0 as stated in standard graph to y equals to 5 here. Okay, now this is how we relate all the transformation to the different amplitude, different period, and different maximum, different minimum, basically also the different shape of the graph from the standard graph. Okay. Now let's draw this new graph. Okay, and we only draw one period of it. Say, okay, x belongs to one period. Okay, as our domain. So this is x, this is y. The shape, there's no reflection, the shape stayed the same, but it moved 5 units on. Well, it's dilated, the amplitude changes, and the maximum here is the neutral line is 5, so let me just put it there. Okay. So y equals to 5, and the maximum is 7. Okay, the minimum is 3, the amplitude is 2. Okay, and it should start at this point, has that shape. Okay, and the period is changed to pi, so not 2 pi, we just put pi. So this point here, the minimum point, will be half, which is pi on 2, and in here is pi on 4, and in this point there will be pi on 8. Okay, now yeah, that's our graph in one period. Okay, our sum graph. Sometimes in your question they will ask you to put the domain is 2 period, or the domain is from 0 to pi. If by, let me say, okay, let me put this is y equals to 2 cosine 2x, okay, plus 5, okay, and the domain is x from 0, circle bracket, because we have dotted thing there, to pi. Okay, if in your question they ask you to sketch the graph from 0 to 2 pi, okay, what you do is you just extend it and copy the exactly the same thing down for one more period. Say this is 2 pi there. Okay, it's, yeah, okay, okay. Also, if in this case the constant c is 0, so if say if there's a value there, say y equals 2 cosine x 2x plus, say, pi in, okay, equals to, plus 5, and you need to find the horizontal shift of the graph, which is make whatever in the bracket equals to 0, and x will be minus pi on 2. It means we have to move the graph to the left by pi on 2 unit. So this is pi on 2 to there. So basically you move the whole thing down there to become something like this. Okay, become something like this. Okay, I should use a different color. Okay, so I try to find a different color. Okay, let's use this color. Okay. If the graph has a horizontal shift here, we find it out, and well, we move it to the left. So this point becomes this point. We move it pi on 2 units to the left. So this point is moved to there, and this point is moved to there, so on. This point moved to there, and this point moved to there. So I will have a graph, like this. Okay, with x from 0 to 2 pi. That's 0 to pi for one period, and this is the graph. Okay, with a horizontal shift. Okay,